Welcome to What the Hell. Today we're going to go over the trailers that's coming out, and since we can actually go to the theater again,
Oh boy.
we're going to review Wrath of Man, which, in my opinion, through that whole thing, I think it was more of a Shakespearean opera type deal with a lot of violence. I'm talking a lot of violence, but it was a very, very good movie.
Yeah, what I took from it was, it's your very stereotypical Guy Ritchie film. I had made the joke. We were sitting in the theater, and I had made the joke that if somebody doesn't die within the first 3 minutes, I'm getting up and walking out. And they got it in just under the wire. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm about to hit the button and put my seat in the upright position and get up and walk out, right? And that guard catches a couple of rounds to the face, and I'm like, God damn it. Okay, fine. I'll stay.
Well, you didn't waste your money. It would have been wasting my money. So.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. You did buy the ticket, so yeah. But
well, I always do that when we actually could go to the theater and everything like that. If we actually went to the theater, if it was a first time for me and you to go to the theater and everything, I would buy the tickets.
Right. Yeah.
It's just one of those things because I honestly like going to the theater, even though there's a lot of political nowadays. Going to theaters and you got to do this.
Like we had made those comments, right?
There's always political bullshit with anything. It's like you can't tiptoe through the fucking roses anymore because someone's gonna say something so bad and comment to the point to where everybody has to know your business nowadays.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing we need to go on. I'll let you speak your piece on this, and we'll do the review.
Well, okay. So what I was going to say was, we saw those advertisements for the, they kept throwing Black Widow up on the screen, which is cool. I'm looking forward to a new Marvel movie. That's awesome. But they're like they show that if you're looking at it from a screen this big,
yeah,
but it deserves to be seen on a screen this big, and they were like, man,
basically,
you were like, get your ass back to the theaters, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're sorry that we fucked little kids, but we really need you to come back to the movie theater so we can make a paycheck. It's like, come on, man. I'm not saying that they all went full Kevin Spacey. I'm not saying that at all. Okay, but
you gotta also remember. Oh fuck! What the hell is his name? Winehouse. Oh, what? Was it Winehouse?
Weinstein?
No. Weinstein.
Yeah,
go full Weinstein. Have the casting couch, which they have had for since the movie started actually going on. They've had a casting couch, and it's not just for women. There's some guys that actually gotten casting couched. Not naming names.
But his initials are?
They're twins.
The Sprouses? Yeah, I went ahead and I said their last initial, the Sprouses. Are you kidding me? Wow, really?
No.
Wow.
No, it's not them.
It's not the Sprouses?
H.
The H? H?
They're YouTube famous.
Yeah, considering the fact...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. So, okay. Here's the thing. All right, yes, I know that we're on YouTube. I get it. We have a channel. You'd think that we'd spend some time on YouTube. Not so much.
I do.
I don't.
I haven't... I have it set up for red, so I don't watch commercials anymore.
Okay.
I hate commercials. Commercials are the devil. When I go to the theater... I was so pissed off when they started doing more, because you can do it right now. We could actually we could have probably been there about 5:05, and we'd still be good at the theaters.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I really don't like commercials.
But we were talking about movie trailers, and I'm sorry. I know that we're going to catch hell for it, especially from the Paul Walker crowd. I'm like, oh my God, he was such an American icon. Shut up. He was James Dean, and he forgot to put on his fucking seatbelt. Anyways.
That is true. But.
Fast and the Furious 9. And I'm like sitting there going, okay. At some point, they're going to have to hijack a truckload of Geritol and Viagra to make this franchise viable again.
Or stand up.
Or stand, yeah. But here's the thing. You know how they brought The Rock in there, and The Rock is almost always, at least until he opened his mouth during the elections, was a surefire way to breathe new life into your franchise, right?
He actually did do that, and they had a spin-off.
Then they did the spin-off, right. But then, COVID happened. I'm so tired of hearing that, but then COVID happened. Anyway, they got John Cena in there now. And apparently...
Swap one I'll say it, WWF wrestler for another WWF.
Panda crowd's going to come after us now.
I know, right?
But, yeah, so I'm like sitting here going, okay, what are they going to do with John Cena here? He's like, hello, brother. I'm like, oh, my God. Really? Come on. And then he made this line, right? The line where he says, I've spent my entire life living in your shadow, and now you're going to spend the rest of yours living in mine. And I'm thinking, okay, Vin Diesel's character is hiding off in the fucking country somewhere, pimping cars out, stuff, he's playing with science. But John Cena is loaded to the point where he's got an army?
No, it's Charlize Theron's army.
Okay.
Her character's army.
Whatever. But he can afford to pay for an army of mercenaries, and he's got...
It's that whole thing.
He's got the badass little tailored suit. He's had the money to go through all that training. He, apparently has enough time on his hands to where he's as big as he is. I know, real life versus, movies. But the character he's playing is big also, obviously. I mean, they can't go all Chris Evans a la, pre-Super Soldier Serum, CGI effect for the entire movie. That would just be expensive. But, because, they blew their big budget on all the car chases.
Well, even Vin Diesel said it for that whole movie franchise. The actual stars of the movies are the cars. And... honestly, if you look at the actual writing and everything like that, which I've had...
Please don't come at me with the whole, these movies are actually written really well. I don't want
to
hear
that. No, they're
not. Okay, thank
you
God. That is a redeeming value. Thank you. You have earned...
They are really horribly written. It's like they went in and had a audition for 3-year-olds to write a script, and that's what they came up with. And they just wrote down, it's like... Hey, little boy, what would you like to see? A car with a rocket on top? We'll put that motherfucker.
I remember the first movie coming out, right? And then cops were just having a freaking nightmare of a time that opening weekend because every jackass with a spoiler on his car thought, oh my God, I can live my life 1/4 mile at a time. Are you serious?
You know what's funny now? In Japan, you know what they're doing now in Japan? They're pimping work trucks. I've actually seen them. They're actually really cool looking. Look them up.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. But and the cops are doing it too. The cops are they're souping their cars up, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the rule actually used to be that if you can outrun the cops, they don't even try. And I guess maybe it goes back to the whole honor code thing. Like living the life through the the means of Bushido, whatever. I don't care. But cops are, the police there now are souping their cars up. I mean, they're throwing turbochargers on there. They're throwing nitrous on there. And I'm like, they're teaching their cops how to drift. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, all right, cool. So note of personal point here. When I ever do get to go visit Japan, don't speed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay. So
well, actually, I kind of just want to see the cop cars, do their thing. But, they have, expeditions for that and everything like that. So you don't have to go out and commit a crime to actually see the stuff they do. I mean, you could probably YouTube it and everything like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
we've got these other movies okay, so they made another Conjuring movie. Can we just throw the doll in the trash? Maybe throw it in a fire? Maybe an incinerator? I don't know.
I've never...
The whole Annabelle thing?
I don't watch horror anymore.
The horror movies have never really been my thing. And it's just, and it's not because I'm like, oh, I can't handle it. It's just I find them boring.
Well, okay, what got me?
It's almost like and I'm not interrupting you. I'm sorry. I am interrupting you, but it's almost like the zombie genre. It's like so repetitive and overdone.
It's saturated.
It is. I'm just like,
No,
it bores me to tears.
What happened with me? I mean, I love the old '80s horror movies. If you give me a good B-rated horror movie, yeah, I'll watch it. Like, I would consider this
like the ones you see on Cinemax late at night on a Friday.
Like, yeah, yeah.
You get some A-list actors. Fuck up drug addicted kid who is a C-lister at best, trying to do their best attempt at breaking into the industry, and here they are. They made a direct to Cinemax on a Friday night type movie, and
I didn't grab the other laptop, but
you'll notice that was the caramel vanilla Black Rifle energy drink and not the rich mocha that fell over, because this is for basic bitches. Anyways. I love that because you're the one that drinks it.
Are you seriously going with that? You really want to go with that? Yeah. Like you said that last time, it goes on the internet.
Yeah, okay.
And,
what?
We'll come back to that.
Nobody said that you were drinking it. You're the one that outed yourself. You were the one that went there and go, oh, really? You gave me that look of like, you son of a bitch.
I have to turn yours down.
Oh, am I just that loud? No, it's because I'm projecting.
No, you were actually going into the mic on that one. So
going into the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to have to turn mine up a little bit. Said there we okay, there we go.
Yeah, see, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
so that way we don't get those constant reminders that David, you needed to speak into the microphone, David.
I know. I've been playing around with this thing forever, and
so by all means, anybody who has access to or has the means to, I don't know, maybe sponsor and or donate upgraded microphones to the show, please reach out to us on our page at angrymeatproduction.com or reach out to us on our Facebook page by the same name, Angry Meat Production, and one of us will get back to you. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving off on that. No, another thing that's coming out that God, asshole.
I'm sorry.
Made my
Not
whole
really.
freaking mind just flutter all the knowledge that I have in my head. No, it was the other trailers here coming out. And we'll get back to Wrath of Man. We totally went off talking. We were supposed to talk about Wrath of Man. We just totally
did. The person sitting there going, I want to hear about Wrath of Man.
We'll get it afterwards so everybody doesn't hear all the spoilers that movie just came out.
Just be like the judge from Caddyshack. You'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah. No, another Shang-Chi.
Yes, the new Marvel movie coming out later. What is it, next year? Or is it this year? No, it's this year.
It's supposed to be. They're already made and already done.
Yeah, they're in the can, yeah.
No, that was... And I hate to say it, that was more or less a... Because no one's heard of that character except for, like, people that are actually in the comics. And it's a very, very good comic
right, but to
premise.
be fair, Iron Man was considered a B-lister
Yeah.
in the Marvel Universe. So thanks to the MCU, we now consider him to be the godfather of the Avengers.
I hate to say it, but everybody's going to be thinking it. Oh, it's just a movie made for China. Because you got to think about it. I mean, they're doing the 10 Rings where the 10 Rings were actually for Iron Man. And they did a little bit on it, but they didn't do the Mandarin. And
they tried to do the Mandarin, and they did a really bad job of it. I'm sorry. I have to put that out there. Iron Man 3, while it was good, it really just it did a 21st Century Fox botch job on the storyline.
You know what comic book that was really good for the Mandarin? It was the Mandarin versus Doctor Doom.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. Yeah.
That was actually really good. Now, going in on the next thing was the redoing G.I. Joe with the origins of Snake Eyes, which once he started talking, I was kind of off-put on it.
I love these scam calls. No.
No. We're gonna do it on air.
We're gonna do it on air.
Okay, we're gonna do it on air.
Hello. Hello.
Oh,
They didn't want to play. You know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
but the Snake Eyes.
We would have had to
movie
have
that's
sent them
yeah.
a media release anyway, right? I mean, especially if they would have like, oh hi, my name is Peggy.
I actually told somebody that, what I do with the spam calls and everything. It's like, why haven't I done that? I'm like,
Well, you've seen me answer some of some of those, right? I'm like, thank God it's you. Hurry up and get over here because there's blood everywhere. Bring bleach and hydrogen peroxide.
I know, right?
And click. But yeah, so okay, so with the whole Origins, I'm sorry, I'm still a little bitter. Okay, I'm a lot bitter about what 21st Century Fox did with the whole Origins moniker when they completely butchered not only Wolverine's origin, but the hack job that they did on the initial iteration of Deadpool on Wade Wilson.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh.
it was good at first, and then it just went to a crap show.
It did. Like, I'm sitting there going,
Thank God, Ryan Reynolds. And if you ever watch this or anything like that,
Well, if they're watching this and they haven't seen either of the Deadpool movies, then you need to stop, unsubscribe, unfollow, correct yourself, and then come back and reset your own timeline. And when they watch Deadpool 2, they will understand the significance of resetting their timeline.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'll take the hit on some followers as long as they go back and they educate themselves before they come back into the fold. We will accept you home and throw a big party for you as if you were the prodigal son. You're welcome.
that was amazing. I mean, I got a little Woody, mahogany even. But anyways,
Don't talk to me until it's teak. I'm just saying.
all right, fine. I'm gonna talk to you until it's tea. That was another movie that was a B-rated movie that was really good. No, I blanked out. Wonderland, that Nicolas Cage movie. Technically, that's a B-rated movie, and that was actually really good.
I bought that on Vudu when it came out, the weekend that it came out. It was, what is it? Crap, it's, hold on. Wait one. I've got the Vudu app on my iPad. Let me look it up in here. Do. Of course you're going to sit there. I don't want to say Wally's Wonderland. It's like,
I think it was Wally's Wonderland.
no, it was Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland, yeah.
And it was a very, it had that whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing going on, which is the only reason why I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
But the fact that Nicolas Cage did not speak a single line of dialogue in that entire movie.
Yeah, I know. And it was just him acting, he using his body language and everything like that.
And that movie for him had to be fun. I mean,
Yeah.
you knew he was like, this isn't going to do shit for my career, but this is going to be fun. And the fact that he didn't have to memorize.
No, he was
lines.
basically just saying paycheck.
Yeah, he was just like, ugh. I mean, that was like that was his line. Ugh. But he went all Predator on that ostrich when he pulled out its, the spinal column. I was like, yeah, my boys were watching it together. We were just like, that is awesome. But anyways, okay, so we have gone wildly off into the weeds here. So getting back to the Wrath of Man.
No, we got one more review.
Oh, we do have one more review.
The Eternals.
Okay. The Eternals. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so this is going to be Angelina Jolie's introduction to the MCU, and what would probably boil down is to one last vain attempt to legitimize her career.
I don't think she has to legitimize her career.
I think she has to legitimize her career.
No, because she's went to directing. She's really good at it.
I'm talking about the acting career. Because let's face it, after her little stint as Lara Croft, which, to be completely and perfectly honest with you, was nothing more than a 1990s cash grab at the fact that she had, or at least used
Was
to.
it in the 90s? I thought it was just
It was
2000s.
Late 90s, early 2000s? No, it might have been 2000s. So, yes, you know what? You're right. It was 2000s. So anyway, so the very early 2000s attempt to cash in on what was left of her amazing body.
Yeah, 2001, 2003.
You know, her English accent is deplorable. I can say that because
Well, the whole reason why she got that job in the first place
was because of her body, and that was it.
Well, that
Pure, plain and simple.
it was actually the designers designed it for her. The first design and everything was designed. Laura Croft was designed off of Angelo Jolie.
Are you talking about for the original game?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. They went on freaking interview with it.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the whole thing about the reason why she got the part.
Oh, we were talking about B movies. Okay. After we'll finish this up. We'll do that after the Eternals. But, you know, okay, so they're going to use the Eternals as kind of like, I don't know, I kind of got the whole, they were the, maybe like an Earthbound Overseers kind of a thing going on.
Well, that's what they are in the comics. Because the Celestials created the Eternals, the Deviants, and humanity.
Now, if they do not address the passing of Stan Lee in the Eternals, I think that that's going to be a huge missed opportunity because the fan theory was that all of Stan Lee's cameos throughout the MCU up to the point of his passing, he was an Eternal. He was an Overwatcher. He was an Overseer.
Yeah.
And because if you remember at the end of, what was it? Infinity War? I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not Infinity War. It was the one just before that.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I think it was Captain Marvel. Anyway, so he's sitting out there. No, it was during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was when when
he was talking
Rocket
to the Watchers.
Rocket and them they were making all those jumps and they were like, where are they going in such a hurry, you know? And it's like he's sitting there talking to him and he's making jokes about making that FedEx delivery package, FedEx package delivery. And
yeah, because he's talking to the Watchers.
Right, and I think that was a direct shout out and acknowledgement of the fan theory that was out there, which I thought was really well done.
Well, it's James Gunn. He looks at everything.
Yeah, I mean, James Gunn, let's face it. I mean, he is kind of a tool, but he's an amazing director, and he knows how to write a movie, how to write a script.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, that was the other thing. Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the new Suicide Squad, James Gunn.
That's another cash grab, and I'd still want to watch it.
Yeah, I do. I do want to watch it. The only thing really DC had going for it was the Snyder Cut for the Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that there's now obviously going to be huge continuity errors because you've got the same person.
Which it doesn't surprise me,
right?
honestly.
But you've got the same actress playing Harley Quinn through not only now, but one, not two, but now 3 movies. 4. Because she was in the first Suicide Squad.
First Suicide Squad.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. New Suicide Squad.
New Suicide Squad.
And didn't she do some kind of cameo?
I don't believe so. I think that was just her third revisit. But I'm going to watch it just because it's James Gunn. Okay, James Gunn, he's a comic book fan. Whereas you're going to have people like Joss Whedon, who obviously loves the MCU, loves Marvel. And then you're going to have Zack Snyder, who obviously loves DC. So they're going to, whenever they brought Joss Whedon in to replace Zack Snyder in the original cut of the Justice League, I mean, to be completely honest, I think that was Joss Whedon's attempt to railroad the DCU.
Good Lord. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay, let me see.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Dickerman is looking at porn during the filming of this episode.
Well, technically.
Did it show you screenshots from the Wolf of Wall Street scene?
No.
Okay,
okay, you're right. There's only 3, but good
See?
Lord. No,
Johnny fucking knows things.
good lord, at how much stuff they're actually going to put out. Because after that, after the new Suicide Squad movie, oh wow, I didn't even look. I had to go farther down. It's just how much I have to go far down into this rabbit hole. Yeah, it was 3, but they have. She has like 2 more movies coming out that are going to be Harley Quinn, Untitled Joker / Harley Quinn Project, Gotham City Sirens. She's got 2 other ones. A Barbie movie. That got me too. Honestly, her best work was from Tanya.
A Barbie, a live action Barbie movie, right? Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I actually.
Jesus.
Her best work, honestly, it's a cross between I, Tanya and this Terminal, which she actually directed.
Right.
But anyways,
yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, it'll be fun to watch, just for, if anything else, the special effects and the CGI. Just to see what they do with it. Because, I mean, I respect John Cena. I do, because he does a lot for kids. I don't care so much for the fact that he placated and bowed down to China. I don't.
Oh, yeah, John China?
Yeah, John China. Don't get me wrong. Now,
yeah, because right after he said and this is what's really messed up. He said Thailand was a country. That's all he technically said.
Taiwan, yeah.
Taiwan. And because China claims Taiwan, that's the reason why he had to apologize.
I know. The studios, they made him do it. They were like, "You'll never work in this town again." Blah blah blah. Anyways, so
you like money? I have money. It's basically bullshit.
Yeah.
It's you wanted to be on screen and everything like that.
Yeah. So the line from the trailer where he said, he's like, nothing like a bloodbath to start the morning. So now I'm like sitting there going, the line itself sounded really, really cool. It's just the way that he delivered it. It was almost kind of like you could see that look on his face. He's like, that intentional frown, like it's a cross between Marlon Brando and Al Pacino. And it was almost like they were trying in the process of conceiving a love child. He was like, there's nothing like a bloodbath to start in the morning, and I'm just sitting there going, okay.
You're trying way too hard on that one there, buddy.
Right.
And I'm talking to John Cena, not Johnny.
Yeah, no. But, okay, so before we get back to Wrath Man real quick. Okay, so whenever I go on my Vudu account, I will look at all of their sales. They're, just kind of see just of what's out there, right?
Yeah.
And I got The Invisible Man on sale, and that was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it.
People were telling me how good it was and everything, but thrillers and horror movies I really don't get into anymore. Because I see a lot of this stuff coming.
True.
Even with The Invisible Man, someone was telling me, it's like, oh, they got it's this.
Yeah,
I
mean, now the storyline itself is predictable. I mean, you get it, like boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Now, from what they were saying about how they did the camera angles and everything like that,
the camera work is what impressed me.
And I actually watched a couple of clips on YouTube, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, see, the camera work, the camera work is what made that movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Elizabeth Moss, I like her as an actress. I think she's a gorgeous woman, and she's even an amazing director. She's directed a couple of episodes of A Handmaid's Tale, which I love that show. I'm completely and hopelessly addicted to that show. So, but anyway, so getting back to what I was saying, I found one of the more kind of like quirky movies. It came out this year, called Benny Loves You.
Okay.
Now, it was this whole genre thing that kind of popped up like a cottage industry, after the Happy Town murders came out with what is her name? Freaking the McCarthy lady. I forget her first name.
Jenny McCarthy?
No, not Jenny McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy?
Melissa, thank you. To me, that movie had so much shock value in it, and it was hilarious, right? And I'm like sitting there going, okay, the fact that you see Muppets, and what's oddly enough is that the Henson Creature Shop helped on that movie. Like, they were Muppet quality puppets, right? You just the whole Muppets going into an adult shop for a peep show, and you see Muppets getting happy endings and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. You know?
Are you talking about the actual Storytime Murders or Happy Time Murders? That movie.
That movie was great. But
And
you see
how-
those other movies that pop up afterwards, right? And they're like kind of like, oh, look at me, we're going to emulate this. But Benny Loves You was incredibly it was campy. It was kind of like,
I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking of the whole Fatal Attraction.
well, yes and no. It is a
It looks
Benny-
like a very
okay, so
cute,
Benny-
kooky movie.
dude. If you've got about an hour and a half to kill, just kind of sit down and take a look at it. I mean, it would almost even be worth renting. I bought it just because I think it was like $6 or something like that on Vudu. So I was like, you know what the hell? I went ahead and got it. But
Don't throw out your toys.
yeah, basically that's the tagline, and just that's the whole. Think overprotective mother meets Ted meets Chucky.
Oh, I'm really.
It's like Toy Story. It's what Toy Story would be if Zack Snyder had written it and the toys broke all the rules about going inanimate. So
Oh my God. I honestly want to see this. Going through the ether and everything like that, I was closing down everything, and before I closed down everything, I look at it just to revisit what I was actually doing in the first place. One reason why I had this up. Nicolas Cage is doing an untitled Joe Exotic TV series.
I saw that.
I don't know how to feel. I didn't even watch the whole documentary for Joe Exotic, so I really can't say anything good or bad. I just saw the whole Joe Exotic thing because of the pandemic and everything.
And I can't.
If it wasn't for the pandemic, that
Right.
documentary would
Tiger King would have never gone off, right? I remember seeing something. It was on YouTube or something. I forget what it was. Somebody had figured out one of the featured people on that miniseries, his phone number, and so they went to go catfish him, and they realized that he had an iPhone because they could iMessage, and they were like FaceTime, and he was thinking, okay, he thought he was talking to like a 19, 20-year-old girl. And he was trying to lure her. He was like, I'll pay for you to come out here. I'll pay for you to take care of my house and live with me, blah, blah, blah. And they were recording the screen. And they called him on FaceTime. And as soon as he came up, he saw that it was not a girl. In fact, it was a couple of guys. And they were catfishing the shit out of him. He hung up immediately and then blocked them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it could have been Joe Exotic. It was the guy that's basically a cult, cat cult.
No.
Or
I
is
think
it
it was
actually
one of the-
someone in town?
I think it was, that person actually lives in Burke.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking creep, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, somebody figured out his phone number, and yeah, so I think he ended up changing his number.
God. That's one thing. As like someone asked me, it's like, hey, you know some of the people from Tiger King's in town and everything. You can get them on your show. I was like,
No, that's just inviting all kinds of just.
I'll go ahead and put a good no on that. click it
right
up
now
into the
we're
thing.
trying to cultivate something that could potentially be worthwhile.
And it could be worthwhile too, just to have him on and everything like that. But the problem is
You know
I
how, like, you
just-
see on TikTok or whatever, you see people that are like, oh, I'm doing this for the clout. You bet your sweet ass I am. No, that would be a complete and total clout move. And I would like to think that we could do something a little bit more substantively.
we're pieces of shit, but at least we're high class pieces of shit.
Right. I mean,
You have to agree.
when we leave somebody's house, they need to wipe themselves with the 4-ply. That's how high class I think would like to think we are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then they not only they not only use the dude wipes to make sure they get all the crevices clean, but then they powder. You know, they use powder, and then they go on about their day. That's how highfalutin I think
We're like
that
a
we are.
fucking bidet.
Sure, yeah, we can go with that.
Yeah,
bidet.
yeah.
With just the right amount of water pressure, though.
And heated.
Okay, but we need to.
By the
really
way,
get
they're
back to
about-
the Wrath of
they're-
Man, because people are starting to tune out now.
Yeah.
But
By the way, those things are like $800. And you can just hook them up to your toilet.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe my oldest son's mother has one in her house.
Those are so
Her and her
freaking
husband have
awesome.
one, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. I could be wrong.
And then
could
once
be
you
mistaken.
use it, once you
No,
use it, it's
I
just
I
weird.
won't. I won't
It's so
because
great.
I won't, and it's just simply due to the fact that it's like that scene from Rick and Morty when he's talking about. You've never experienced true level, and he goes, all right, like, fine, all right,
Yeah.
fine. So he spends all day out in the garage pouring this one little section of completely true level concrete, and then Morty stands on it, and it's time to go to school. He's like, my life is a lie. And he starts to slowly, well, not slowly, he just rapidly breaks down. I think
they were
that's hilarious.
doing, what is it, Morty's Mind Blowers?
That was the episode, Morty's
Yeah.
Mind Blowers, yeah.
No,
But getting back to the Wrath of Man, though, I mean,
it started out really slow.
it did, because the day that we went to go see it, for me, that movie kind of struck me kind of like a Napoleon Dynamite kind of a slow soak, right? Where you're watching the movie and you're like, you're not really sure what to think of it. You kind of need 24 hours to completely digest it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's what it was. It was that I had to have like a full day to just kind of mull it over, completely digest the movie. And, looking at it in kind of like a retrospect, I'm like, yeah, I really did enjoy that movie. Yes, it's your stereotypical, very, very form-fitting Guy Ritchie movie where a lot of violence, the writing is pretty good. And
Actually, the writing was really good.
oh yeah, the writing was really good, but you didn't have a lot of camera effects. I mean, the thing I do like about Guy Ritchie is the fact that he doesn't rely on like the speed swipes or the camera flares. We're looking at you, J.J. Abrams. He doesn't really, he doesn't even really kind of like rely on those heavy zooms, like the big fast zooms, or anything like that.
Yeah, it's more or less like a classic movie.
Right, it is, and it was really well shot. And one of the shots that I really, really liked was when they get done shooting up that child porn place, and Jason Statham's character is sitting in the car already, and his right-hand man comes out, right? And you see that the camera is basically posted up on the passenger side door. And you see right there on the edge of the screen, the hand come in, lift the door handle. You see the camera pull back. The guy gets in the car, door shuts, and then you see the camera reattached to the door. That shot I really liked. And it was, because to me, that was almost like it kind of had a Tarantino / Scorsese kind of a feel to it. Like, making you really sort of privy to a gangster level type conversation. And you just saw the look of exasperation and just exhaustion on both of the characters' faces. And you're like, yeah, okay. I mean, you still see that Jason Statham's character is driven on a certain point. I mean, he's very fixed on a very finite, destination. But his right-hand man is just sitting there going, I am really tired of this shit. And I mean, it's exhausting. And you could tell that it's going to fuck with him later.
And
But
it does.
it does.
For that one point when they're trying to rob that the truck, and they're like they do it precise. They get everything done. They should have. It should have been. It was an easy job for him and everything like that. And then when he just showed, then Jason Stamos' character showed who he was. He's called H in this.
Yeah, H.
Who he was, and they're like, they just backed away. They ran in. They all gathered in a car and were like, "The fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
There's something wrong here. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Do we go back? No,
And they kept,
we don't go back.
and the characters and the people that worked for the armored car company that he was kind of embedding himself with, they all kept referring to him after that first initial shootout, where he took down the 6 guys, by himself. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alerts, by the way.
Yeah, we forgot to say
And
that.
and if you're a nerd and you're a Whovian, spoilers. Do you get that reference? Please tell me you get that reference.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. River Song. Yes. Awesome. Anyway, digress. So, they after that initial shootout, they were like, "Oh, dude, you could really walk on water. You're a badass, right?" And he's like, "I'm just doing my job," And my Jason Statham impression is horrible, by the way. But
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, but he's got more of
the English accent. Yeah.
But besides that, my girlfriend will attest to this. I'm a whole hell of a lot better looking than Jason Statham. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, shut up. We're moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
Closing the door on that
we're
one.
We're moving on.
We're moving on because I'm not going to give you the opportunity. Anyway.
Yeah.
But,
I was about to say something you'd probably reach over.
No. But
Go on. You're like, maybe I should open up. No. We gotta close that door.
Not doing
you gotta
it.
close it.
I'm staying on point here. But as the movie progressed, you started seeing just the storylines start to evolve, and you're like, oh wow, this, I see where this is going. But then he still manages to throw that kind of like that M. Night Shyamalan-esque type wrinkle at the into it at the end.
Yeah.
But Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's kid.
Yeah.
Usually see him playing a good guy. It's really kind of refreshing to see him kind of branch out and play a villain in the movie.
Yeah, he was just on Joe Rogan like yesterday.
Yeah. And and I really do like Scott Eastwood. I think that, and he looks remarkably like his dad. You can definitely tell that the genes were passed down there.
Yeah.
But, there's absolutely no contesting his paternity. But, because Scott Eastwood, one of my favorite movies that he was in was The Outpost.
That's what I was trying to figure out what the name of that movie was. I had to look it up, but yeah.
Really good movie. It was a well-done movie. Now, if you talk to the people who know about what actually happened there, and the people that were there, they will tell you that the movie's full of inaccuracies. Well, no shit. Not to take away the things that you guys have done or what those guys went through, especially the guys that survived and made it out on the other side.
Well, they're making another one. They're using what's his name? Damn it. The not the bald one, but the Scott Eastwood's character. God, I can't remember his name. And I know.
What is it?
Clint Romachet.
Yeah, what are they?
Clint Romachet's doing one just off of his book.
Yeah. Okay.
And
is he going to have Scott Eastwood portraying him again? That would be kind of cool.
No.
Really, that would be cool.
No, I don't think so. Because Clint had like a little bit of problems with the movie and everything, how they didn't. It was. You would have to.
Well,
he wasn't upset, But but in the same instance, he was like, "We're doing this movie too. Why are you?" And they just, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, we have a bigger money, so we're gonna chunk one out really quick, type deal.
So
And
Eastwood's. So you're saying Eastwood's problem with it was the fact that it was just done.
No,
kind of
Robuchet.
Robuchet was done. Oh, so is he mad at Eastwood about it?
No.
Okay, well, see, and that's my point.
He was
I
like,
think
yeah, it was
Eastwood's
actually a good
portrayal.
movie.
I think Eastwood's portrayal of him was actually really good.
Both of them were talking about it on a Free American podcast.
Yeah,
they were sitting next to each other
Right.
like that, and they were going. Robuchet was like, "Yeah, I didn't like this, and this, but still, it was a good movie. I watched it."
Yeah, I mean, it was a good movie in the sense that it was a movie. But as far as like being true to the events of the timeline,
Yeah, because the lieutenant didn't die.
He didn't.
like that for God, I had it in my head, but he didn't die that early. He actually died a little bit later.
yeah, and
It
the
was just
captain,
really-
the captain didn't die alone in that truck. I
Yeah.
mean, there was somebody else in the cab with him, but and that was probably one of the more accurate Army things that I had ever seen in a movie. Is when he walked into the talk tent, and he's tapping the rank on his sleeve. He's like, "Hello, is this thing on?"
I've never had
You know?
to see that, so
He walks in, and everybody, usually everybody quiets down, or they, say attention, whatever, just to kind of acknowledge the fact that an officer walked in. And when Orlando Bloom, who was portraying the captain, walks in, nobody did that. So he reaches over on his sleeve and he taps his captain bars. He's like, "Hello, are these on? Do these work?" And everybody's like, "All right, shut the fuck up." I was just like, he goes, "All right, thank you." So I'm just sitting there going, that is the most Army thing I have ever seen in the movies. And that was just...
Oh, okay. It's
It
just
was
called,
amazing.
Yeah, Clint Robochet's movie is going to be Red Platoon. It's the same title as his book.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the point that I was trying to make was that I think it would be cool if Eastwood portrayed him again. But...
He did a good job. I mean,
Yeah, and that's all that
Scott
I was trying
Eastwood,
to go with it. Yeah.
Eastwood is actually a really, really good actor, and it's not because he grew up doing this. It was basically his dad's like, work on it.
Yeah, he's like, do what you want, But
I still like. Okay, there's two things. One coming off of the Joe Rogan interview that I didn't know about Clint Eastwood, but another thing about Scott Eastwood and his father was the fact that Scott Eastwood's car like broke down or something like that. He called his dad, like, "Hey, Dad, my car's broke down." He's like, "Fix it." What do you want me to do? Fix it. I'm over here. What are you calling me for about this? Fix it. And he's like, okay, and he ended up fixing the car. The other thing is Clint Eastwood ended up not going to the Korean War only because he was in a plane crash, and he had to swim 2 miles in the San Francisco Bay to get back home. That's the reason why he didn't go to Korean War.
Funny thing is, okay, so remember we had been, I introduced you to the Mike Rowe podcast, The Way I Heard It, right?
Yeah.
One of his earlier episodes, he was talking about that plane crash. The pilot that flew that plane, Sullenberger.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So go back and listen to go back to the very, very first episode and just go through those and just listen to them, because the format on that podcast changed from being like a 15 to 20-minute podcast, because his tagline was is that the short podcast for the short attention span. But then after a while he would do The Way I Heard It. He would read the chapter, he would read his story, but then he would be, now we're going to talk about the way that I heard it. And he would talk, him and his producer would go on for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half after that, and talk about the history behind the story.
Yeah, well, that's what we ended up doing with this.
Yeah.
Is it just started like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we have evolved to like 2 to 3 hours to 4 hours on sometimes.
Yeah. We're just not going to do another 4-hour interview where we have to break it up into 3 episodes.
As long as I don't talk about, ask you about your life, we should be good.
Yeah, because my life is kind of a train wreck.
I don't know. We could have a battle out. Who has the
Well,
worst?
let me rephrase that. My
Train wreck.
life is not necessarily a train wreck. It is more like a...
It has a lot of fuck up pit stops. Mine, on the other hand, is how did you survive that type of deal? That's the difference. That's what a lot of people don't understand when they're actually, it's like, oh, my life.
My life
horrible.
is like trying to get home during rush hour traffic with a lot of traffic stops in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But
like I said, with a little bit of pit stops.
A little bit.
Mine, on the other hand, everybody's watching it and going, holy crap. Are they all going to live?
You'll hear Merle Haggard in the background going, those Duke boys are at it again.
Yeah. It's nothing. And it's nothing like, we laugh on it and everything like that, but God.
Yeah.
There's certain points in my life that I've actually, when I told people it, they like gave me hugs. They were just making sure that I was all right. I was like, dude, it happened a long time ago.
On the off chance that anybody who was involved with the filming, production, post-production, or the pre-production of Wrath of Man, to include the cast, the director himself, producers, whatever, if they happen to come across this podcast and they're like, oh, they're going to talk about the Wrath of Man, it's going to take us an hour and a half to get back to and from, and they're going to send us a message, or they will fly the fuck out here and they'll be like, no, we are reshooting that episode, and I'm going to sit right there in that chair off camera with a fucking shotgun, and I'm going to make sure you guys stay on task.
You'd be surprised as many episodes of I've listened to myself on podcasts. I really want to do it, and the reason why I know that we're still all right with it, no matter what, because there's some of. I listened to one about John Lennon. It was a two-parter,
right?
And it took them probably about 2 to 3 hours to get to the point where they're talking about John Lennon.
Right.
So, and it's actually a really good show.
Yeah.
I listened to it and everything like that. It's actually a really good show.
But one of the things that stuck out for me during The Wrath of Man was Andy Garcia's character, the FBI agent, right?
Yeah.
And he basically gives Jason Statham, H, free reign.
Yeah.
And I love how at the end of the movie he just kind of nonchalantly pops up off, from out of frame and then goes, "Are we done?" "Yeah, we're done." And he walks away. And I'm like, and he just calmly gets into the elevator, closes it up, and goes up to where the crime scene's going to be. And I'm like, that dude is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Stuart Scott. But it's Stuart Scott is okay. Here we go. Pausing, off track. Sports Center. He was a personality for ESPN Sports Center. Died of cancer a few years ago. He coined the phrase "cool as the other side of the pillow."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got his book where he survived. Where he talks about his cancer journey. And dude, it's really inspiring, and he was one of the reasons why I really kept watching ESPN. But that's something that we can talk about that during like one of our future sports episodes, because we can really, that's a subject that we can really get into, and I'll dig that book out so you can take a look at it, because it's a really inspiring book.
I still can't wait for this one, The Man in the Arena.
Oh, one of the, what is it? I've got it coming here. It's
And I've been showing this off. This is Naval Chief retired Eddie Gallagher. It is about his time from fighting ISIS to fighting for my freedom. The Man in the Arena.
Okay,
get
so
contact with his publicist, see if he'll.
So Chris Pronto, everybody called him Tonto. Remember, 13 Hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great guy.
He's got 3 books out. He's got the 13 Hours. He's got The Ranger Way, and he's got another one.
And he finally
like
picked
the Warriors
up,
Creek, right?
He finally picked up Hillary Clinton's biography so he can figure out what happened in 13 hours.
Well, I've got an. Cool thing is that if you go to his website,
Yeah.
he's got his books for sale, but he also he offers autographed copies of his hardcover editions, right?
Yeah.
and he'll personalize the autographs for no additional charge. So I've got the Ranger Way coming, where he's making the autograph out to me. So I mean, that's going to be cool for me. Yeah, it's not as cool as physically meeting the guy and having him sign it and do everything like that. But at the same time, I'm still, it's going to be a personalized autograph, and it's going to, yeah. But I've got that book coming, so I'm looking forward to reading that book. I mean, if you could even buy the copy of the movie, the Blu-ray edition, and he'll autograph that. But
that's like Jason Lee Scott. Yeah, messed that up. The original Power Ranger.
Yeah,
he eventually made his only a website and everything like that, to where you can buy. You basically buy the pops. He autographs it. There we go. Yeah. $20, whatever the price is. And
you shouldn't have told me that. Damn it. Anyways, now the original Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson. If she had something like that set up, yeah, totally.
No, he does it. He does it for all of them.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
His whole website is because he got pissed off at people trying to like upsell the stuff for like $300 or $400.
Yeah, I do. I remember reading that now. Yeah, but
he has a YouTube channel that does that.
Yeah, so but overall, having now been, what is it now, 72 hours removed since we've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of a fan of it, and
I Guy Ritchie movies, except for like kind of like Aladdin.
Yeah.
That was the only Guy Ritchie movie I'm kind of like in par with, where I looked at it and I was like, he needed money. I mean, every once in a while you got to hit that street corner.
Right, exactly. But
all of his movies, though,
mm-hmm.
You can't say anything bad about him.
Right. You can't. And
especially if it's made from his ideology and his... I mean, you look at Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, the two movies there was really great. King Arthur, I loved. I love that take on King Arthur.
You talking about the one with that the dude
from Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Which is funny, is because when he did the part, he had to go back to where he lived and everything, and soak in how they were talking and everything, because he totally forgot how to talk that way.
Yeah.
Because Sons of Anarchy is an American accent.
Yeah, he dropped his dialect and he dropped his accent for the Sons of Anarchy show, and he had to go back and pick that up, and I'm the same way. It's like, okay, like when I was in the Army and I lived in Tennessee, they speak just a little bit differently out there, and it's a little slower. I'm not saying that they're slow. I'm just saying that the accent's a little bit slower, and they just some of the mannerisms of the dialect that's out there is just a little different, right? But then I come back out here, Texans, we speak a little bit faster, and we enunciate things a little bit better. But for the most part, depending on what part of Texas that you live in, right? I know if you go to like East Texas, I'm talking about places like Paris or
Mars. Yeah, there's a Mars, Texas. You didn't know that?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, so we're like places like Pittsburgh or Paris, places out east. Whew. That's different, but it's funny because I've got cousins that still live in like England, Ireland, Scotland, and I'll talk to them through like Facebook Messenger or whatever. And give me like 3, 4, or 5 minutes on the phone with them, and I'm talking to them just like this.
I do the same damn thing. When I was
I didn't mean to do it.
I did that.
And
I did that when I was in England.
I can't that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But what blows my mind is the fact that it takes me forever to transition back. And it just feels so natural. And the funny thing of it is that I haven't spent any kind of discernible time back in the country at all. And I'm starting to believe that it's somewhat genetic.
No, I have that same thing, which is really sad. Is I pick up accents way too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost like a chameleon type thing.
Exactly. I go in, and when I was in England, oh God, my dad almost beat the crap out of me when I got back from England.
Oh, because you start talking to him like this, eh?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I ended up talking to this Welsh chick, and I was like, "Hey, are you from Yelts?" She's like, "Bloody well, right, close to it." And I was like, "Oh dear God, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And I had to mentally put a brake on that part of my brain, and I ended up doing it. She's like, I was like, blah 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 blah, and I end up talking like that. She's like, "You're one of those, aren't you, that have to take the language of my people?" I'm like, "No, I just don't mean it."
Yeah, we cultural
'Cause a lot of-
appropriation.
What's really sad is a lot of people get it thinking I lived in Pittsburgh or something like that. I was like, I've never lived in Pittsburgh. I've never been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, but actually, you know what? I think we're still making pretty good time. We were probably right at close to an hour here, but
Yeah.
yeah. Now that people are starting to come back into the theaters and we're not
We're
having
all
to.
about ourselves with that one though.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, literally,
I
we
love-
were. We
I
were the
love-
only one. Yeah, and it was funny because we had the opportunity to converse during the movie about the movie, and we could make those unseemly comments about the previews that we were watching.
Yeah.
And we could make. I was able to make that comment out loud about.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
we're
that
sorry
Conjur-
that we fucked little kids.
It was like that Conjuring movie. I had to have my ears plugged because I can't do like horror trailers anymore.
Oh,
because
you're
they
talking
have
about
that
the-
screeching freaking sound
no,
each and
you're
every
talking
time.
about the Night House.
Yes.
Yes. Now
Yes.
that movie trailer,
I think that one's more of a mirror universe type deal.
I think
the
we
way-
could probably do without that movie. I mean, honestly, because it's going to be a movie that is going to rely, for me.
I think that one's just a whole us in reverse or some shit like that.
No, the angle that I'm going for here is that movie is going to heavily rely on the jump scare. The jump scare, and you're going to have that violin, that screeching kind of soundtrack, and to me,
I would have to do it to where
if you're going to do a true horror movie or a true thriller or true suspense style movie,
you have to have a cat jumping out at one point in time.
do your best to pay homage to Wes Craven, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Do a good movie. Don't rely on camera tricks and soundtrack to make your movie.
Well, that's literally how they actually do the movies. And this is back in when did the Hellraiser when they were in space? It was like in like late 90s.
Yeah, see, for me, just like with the whole Jason thing, the second that you take a terrestrial storyline and you have to inject it in space, come on.
Well, they had a documentary before it came out on Fox, before it actually came out and everything, and it showed how they actually made the movies and everything. They got it where it was camera angles, all kinds of stuff and everything like that. And I could make a horror movie just off of that.
Right.
And it ruined the horror genre because every time I was like, okay. It was like when Saw first came out, everybody's like, you'll never. I was like, listen, there's a reason why I don't watch horror movies anymore.
Yeah, see,
I don't like my brain works in a capacity to where it figures stuff out first and it just ruins stuff for me.
Right.
And that's
yeah.
what
See, for
happened.
me, the first Saw movie, Saw, the original Saw, that was the only one of the entire franchise that I physically went to go see, or even cared to watch. I didn't watch the sequels. None of them. I just, to me, it's like Fast and the Furious. Every time there's a new addition, a new iteration, it just waters it down. And it's to the point where it's just so diluted that it's almost like ghetto Kool-Aid,
yeah.
But,
It's just after
they
the
take
first-
half the packet, throw it in with, 4 cups of water, and they're like, okay, we're going to make this stretch. And then you put ice in it, and it keeps getting thinner and thinner.
Well, what it ended up happening is you ended up having a lot of gore movies that try to overtop themselves from the last one.
Yeah.
And-
But that's the thing. The first Saw movie, legitimately, I was like, yeah, okay, that was kind of a cool movie. I saw The Ring in the theater, and I'm telling you, I didn't think I was going to die in 7 days. I just thought that I was going to become perpetually, just
Or
dumber.
VHS. That one where they have to. Well, wait a minute. The Ring one was about the video.
Right,
where they
with
had
the video and the girl crawling
that
out
was
of the
same
screen.
thing.
Everybody's all jumping out of their seats, and that girl crawls out of the TV, and I'm like, yawn? Dude, I was so pissed because I had taken a girl to go see that movie, and I walked out of the theater, dude, in a bad fucking mood because I was like, I just wasted $14-15.
That's why afterwards you have hate sex.
Well, no. I mean, not even in because the movie was just that horrible for me, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, The Ring was so scary." Well, that's just because you have a really, really poor taste in movies.
Well,
and you can come at me all day with that, with some kind of rebuttal on that, but it's like I'm going to stand by that conviction with a vengeance because.
Well, in that time frame, all they really did back then at that time frame is they just took a lot of Japanese movies that was popular in Japanese and made it Americanized it.
Yeah, well, the Americanized version of The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, that one I enjoyed because that one they actually did a decent job of. I mean, that was a true adaptation, and then everything that came out after that, it was just kind of like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? It's like. Because for me, when you do a movie and it does really well, it doesn't necessarily mean, okay, let's greenlight a sequel because sometimes the story just needs to end right there.
Yeah.
And just leave it as a cliffhanger because at that point,
But people get so upset when you do cliffhangers like that.
Let
I was
them be.
like,
let them be. Because at that point, you know what they're doing? They're still talking. They're still talking about that movie.
yeah.
Whereas you start doing sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel for the purposes of making sequels because you think you're keeping your fan base happy. No. As much as I disagree with the fact that 21st Century Fox and Fox, Fox broadcast company canceled Firefly after 14 episodes, one season, and they canceled it, right? And they left it hanging there. Had they continued that story, yes, I think that they could have done an amazing job with it, especially if they'd have kept Joss Whedon at the helm, right? You and I are agreeing on that, right? The whole Mal and Inara,
Yeah.
Okay. So that whole dynamic thing, and I really hate the fact that they killed Wash and Serenity, but the
whole
yeah, I know when they go to a Comic-Con or whatever, and somebody asks Josh Whedon if you could do it all over again, he would like, well,
No.
Wash would be alive.
It's really sad is the reason why they killed those two characters off.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that
I thought I said that last episode.
I think we did. I think we did go over it. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you've got Whovians for your Doctor Who, you got Trekkies or Trekkers for Star Trek. You've got whatever
just Star Wars.
Whatever Star Wars fans are going to be called.
Fanboys.
Fans, whatever.
Which that was a good movie.
But for Firefly and the Serenity universe, we're the browncoats, right? So you've got the browncoats. I mean, you've got all these like societies kind of popping up all over Facebook about browncoats unite, and it's like somebody took the time.
Or the 501st from Star Wars.
Yeah, the 501st from Star Wars. But it's like, okay, somebody took the time. Somebody took the time and the effort to figure out when Unification Day would fall on the actual calendar, right?
That's a lot of dedication.
That is a lot of dedication. Yeah, and so they set it up. I saw the Facebook page somewhere. I don't know if it still exists or not, but they had on Unification Day, they do this whole. People can, they'll have like a big long running post, or they'll have people post pictures from their binge watch parties from Unification Day. They'll either watch Serenity or they'll watch the entirety of the series.
Don't they have like a brown coat or something like that bar?
They might. I'm not sure, but to me, I'm like, okay, they stopped it there, and it gave fans reason to keep going back and celebrate the original. Okay, Do I agree with some of the things that they did in Serenity? No, I think because it prevented them from coming back and actually reopening that can and continuing the storyline in the way that we would have wanted. But
Yeah, it was Maidenhead. Like apparently it's closed down or something like that.
it
Was it far?
when you start doing these
Oh, that was
really
part of the show.
ill-advised sequels like Saws, and even to an extent some of the Grudge films, right? Or especially The Conjuring, Fast and the Furious.
Nowadays, it's more of a hit and miss. Really.
We can get into the whole argument about how Hollywood is running out of ideas and all they're doing is just reboots, right?
No, there is
Film
actually
historians are going to look back and they're going to be like, okay, this is the Dark Ages. Yes, CGI and special effects, they progressed here, and that's great. And it really used, this was our springboard for what we're enjoying in the cinemas now. But as far as like original IPs,
yeah.
What is it? They're coming out with a new Father of the Bride movie where they're setting it in a Latin, setting. Like it's Jennifer Lopez, or no, not Jennifer Lopez. It's Miami Sound Machine lady. I forget her name. Gloria Estefan. She's going to be the mother, and Andy Garcia is going to be the father of the bride. And there it's going to be set in like the Cuban community. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of a cool little take on it, but you're still rehashing an idea. Where you think that it's like, all right, we're going to put just enough of a change into this where we can call this a new IP, and it's really not. But not to disparage from the community or the Latino or the Hispanic communities at all. Don't take it that way. But I think that Hollywood just as a whole is...
There is a producer on one of the shows, and he said the only new idea I've ever seen. How much more time we got? Okay. We're at the closing point anyway.
Yeah, so go ahead.
But he literally said the only good idea the only new idea I've ever seen was in a porno where the two people after they killed a bear were having sex on top of it. That is the only original idea he's ever seen. He's basically seen everything. I was like, wait a minute, what?
That is a unique take, right?
That was the weirdest take and everything like that. But I was like,
you want to know? I'm
not
curious,
wrong.
right? But I'm curious as to know how much of that is an actual genuine take, or how much of that take is just out there for shock value.
It's more or less shock value. Like I said on some of the books and everything like they're coming out with now. Mm-hmm. It's a whole group of shock books to where they just come up with the writers come up with like the far out in the field storyline,
right?
Like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, and it's more or less like Taming Sleeping Beauty. I don't even remember what the book is called or anything like that, but I won't repeat it because it's that far off. Because someone did a review on YouTube about it, and I was like, "Wow, what's this review? Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy?" And he goes in and it's like the only reason why this book was made because there's a group of people that actually like shock books like that. They go over the top on everything, and it's really. I mean, there's military dark humor, and there's some people that should be in prison dark humor.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what goes on that one. But was there any other movies that are coming out that we really didn't talk that much about the Snake Eyes origins?
Well, okay, so we're going to wrap it up on that, but as far as the origin of Snake Eyes,
he talked and I was kind of blown off on that one.
Well, I think that, and this is just me calling my shot here, but this is my take on how the movie is going to progress. He's going to find himself becoming more and more incorporated into this world of the ninja, and either he is going to sustain an injury where his tongue is cut out, or he's going to take an oath of silence.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that the only way that he can obtain the rank of whatever ninja rank gets to wear that uniform with the mask and everything.
Yeah.
Is that either you have your tongue cut out, kind of like with the Assassin's Creed where they have part of their finger cut off.
I thought it was the pinky.
Pinky, finger, whatever. It doesn't matter. They have something cut off. If they do that, or he has to take a vow of silence, kind of like Tibetan monks or whatever, right? But I think that movie is going to rely heavily on wire fighting, CGI, and not only camera zooms, but camera flares, lens flares.
Or placement of the camera to where you're just looking at the feet. Like, I rewatched The One with Jet Li.
Yeah, well, here's one of the camera angles that I predict is going to be in this movie, right? You're going to see him take a big swipe with his katana, right? And the camera's going to zoom into the spine of the blade, and it's going to run down the length of the blade, and the camera's going to turn, and it's going to face him as the tip of the, like he's chopping somebody's head off, whatever kind of thing, and you're going to see from the point of view from the tip of the blade as it's passing through somebody's neck, and you're going to see the back of this person's, the back of their neck, and then it's going to come out the other side, and then you'll see the head
that,
fall
I'll give you
way.
$1.
Yeah, to me that would be kind of a cool and kind of creative.
It's for kids, so I really don't think it's going to actually happen.
Yeah, well, this is true. Well, yeah, because it's not going to be rated R. It's going to be, what, PG-13?
Yeah,
and
they might be able to do it
it
once. That's probably about it.
Well, because the rules. It's like you can inject the word fuck once into a PG-13 movie before you get an R rating. And I always love that meme. It's like if
it's not a meme. It's the first part of Be Cool.
No. Well, no. I'm talking about the meme itself. It's like if you could inject the word fuck into any PG-13 movie, where would it be? And then somebody shows the Chamber of the Younglings, and then Anakin
Yes.
Anakin ignites his lightsaber,
Yes.
and that youngling just looks up and goes, "Fuck."
Yeah.
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 To me, I'm like, that is perfect. That is exactly where I would put it.
That was hilarious. That would have been hilarious.
And then you see that meme where it's got Christian Hayden and the guy that plays Palpatine visiting children's hospitals.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of goes,
Yeah.
the need to more
I was
intensifies.
like,
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, that's going to end badly.
That's not good.
Execute Order 66, and I'm like, oh, Lord, no.
Should we be watching this? No?
Right,
Oh.
but that's going to be a nerd argument for another day, another
Yeah.
nerd discussion, because I'm talking about Order 66. Anakin was being escorted everywhere by clone troopers, right?
Yeah.
And supposedly every clone trooper had those control chips implanted in their heads, right, whenever they were cloned. And as soon as the Emperor gave the order to execute Order 66, every Jedi was supposedly supposed to be turned on by their clones and executed, right? So was Mace Windu correct when he kept reminding Anakin that he will never be granted the rank of Master because they didn't view him as a real Jedi? So stew on that for a little bit. I'm Johnny Skelton.
I'm David Dickerman.
And that's What the Hell for this week.
Yeah.
Y'all take it easy and stay classy, San Diego.